Broadcasting live from Zack Snyder's artistic integrity, this is Pop Culture Reference, your one-stop reference for all things pop culture. I'm one of your hosts, Seamus Connolly.
I'm Garrett Strother.
I'm Ricardo. Hello. Yes.
My man.
What's up? What's up, guys?
I felt you, falling into that valley, and then you were like, oh no, I have to keep this... I have to keep my intro energy up, and you threw that on at the end.
Okay, boys, we got a supercharged, super packed episode. So what say we just jump right into news?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
All right, first up, we've got Yaphet Kotto, famed for roles in Alien and the James Bond adventure Live and Let Die, has passed away at 81 years old. An absolute legend, and he will be missed.
Yeah, he's one of those 80s and 90s character actors that just really, I don't know, he put effort into his roles, man. Whenever you see him in anything, a couple weeks ago, I think I rec-centered Midnight Run. That's right, and he's one of the supporting FBI agents in that. Totally kills it, and I obviously always appreciate him in The Running Man with Schwarzenegger. He fits right in next to that charismatic Austrian man.
I saw Alien not too recently for the first time. He was in it, and that's all I know.
You don't remember? He's great in that movie. He's one of my him and our boy Stanton in there. They totally kill it.
Yeah, just trying to get some equal pay around here. Come on. All right, but moving on to mainstream entertainment news, we had the Oscar nominations come out last Monday, and while I think they definitely were trying to avoid the mistakes that, the Golden Globes made this year, I do think there were some snubs worth talking about, including the fact that a couple of my favorite movies of the year, including One Night in Miami and To Five Bloods, weren't nominated for Best Picture. Delroy Lindo didn't get nominated for To Five Bloods, nor did Chadwick Boseman, although he did get nominated for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Regina King didn't get nominated for Director. Just lots of surprises to me. Oh, Invisible Man didn't get nominated for Best Visual Effects, which I think is just insane.
Damn, yeah, that is a shame. There's also there's the news that Lakeith Stanfield and Daniel Kaluuya are both nominated for Best Supporting Actor, and
ain't that a trip?
They're both so incredible. I don't know. I mean, it's Garrett. I think you were talking before. It's not unprecedented, something like this could happen. But
who is the lead, Seamus?
Yeah, that's the confusion.
Who is
now.
the lead?
I don't know. I guess neither of them. They're both supporting each other. It's a little weird, but I mean, I would hope at least one of them wins for their roles.
I would argue that Lakeith Stanfield is the main character, but that Daniel Kaluuya is the lead performance, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think I see where you're coming from. It's a little, because they really do flip back and forth, but kind of starts and follows Lakeith Stanfield a little more consistently throughout.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm glad to see that Judas and the Black Messiah is nominated for Best Picture, as well as another one of a movie we covered on the show, Mank, I also believe is nominated for Best Picture. I mean, we definitely talked about how it was 100% going to be there, so it's not a huge surprise, but I mean, I enjoyed that movie a lot, so I'm glad to see it up there somewhere high.
But it's also not nearly as good as other movies we covered that didn't get nominated for Best Picture, so it's kind of like
a little bittersweet on that. Yeah, you like to see stuff you liked up there, but there, like you said, there's a lot that could have been there instead.
But yeah, I mean, we'll talk obviously more in depth when the Oscars happen in April. I don't know. I don't know when.
Are you guys going to do you ever try to get all the Best Picture nominations under your belt before the day, or is it more of just hitting the highlights?
This year I might, because I'm so close anyway. I usually don't care. Often I feel like I end up seeing them regardless just because, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I feel you.
But, I mean, I'm assuming, boys, we're doing our Oscar bet again this year.
I was going to bring that up. I think I won last year based on, my gut. I didn't see a lot of those movies,
Your hazy memory of us Venmoing you $5.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think you did win last year. And so I'd love to take you back on. It's not pop quiz or anything, but
Yeah, we'll see if I can do a yearly streak of Oscar pools, but maybe not this year. I'm gonna try to get as many as I can watched, but I don't know. I definitely want to see Minari.
Oh,
That's how you
100%.
say it, right? I haven't
Yeah,
seen that yet,
Minari.
but I mean, Steven Yeun, isn't he also nominated for best actor?
He is.
Yeah, I heard he's incredible
first
in it.
Asian ever, apparently.
That is absolutely horrible, but I mean, it's great that it's happening. Horrible that it's the first ever somehow.
Well, we'll see how all of these reflect into wins in a couple weeks. Alright, we got some 1-2 punch comic book news coming up. First, Venom 2 has been pushed to September 17th, which is also the week that Death on the Nile from Disney comes out, but I don't see those too much being in competition. And then we've got an Our Man movie in the works over at DC.
These are two properties that I'm so not like in the loop with. Like Venom, just because the Tom Hardy ones didn't look that, or the Tom Hardy one didn't look that great to me, and two, because I've just never even heard of Our Man.
You telling me we're not doing Venom for the show?
I mean, I'll watch it if you're gonna make me, but I've heard things about Venom, not great things.
Not great things. That is what I remember Ricardo describing to me the post-credit scene the weekend after it came out.
I think I remember talking to Ricardo and guessing the post-credit scene with no context, and he was like, yep, that's exactly what happens. You got it word for word, and I was very upset.
But, yeah, Our Man
It's the
intrigues
title
me.
of the movie now. There's gonna be carnage.
Yeah.
Oh, God, get out of here. Tell us about Our Man instead. That sounds like a property that is way more wacky. I want it.
This one's really weird because, yeah, Our Man's a character, but who cares about Our Man?
Well, I mean, I kind of...
I don't know why he's getting his own movie.
I kind of see it in the same vein as, like, they pulled the weirdest characters for, like, the James Gunn Suicide Squad reboot. So they're just pulling the weird stuff and seeing what sticks, you know?
Yeah. His whole shtick, Our Man, is he's got this, it's some kind of elixir, or sometimes it's a pill, where he'll get superpowers for 1 hour, and that's it.
Wow, wait, really? It's I thought he was gonna have like time manipulation powers. It's
Nope.
just literally he has. Is it like Superman powers for 1 hour? Like at least is it like good powers?
I think they change, or
Yeah, that's, I think, what I knew about Our Man, is that his powers changed.
I am in for this. This is like a Russian roulette superhero movie. You don't know what you're gonna get.
and depending on which way they want to go, they could go with the JSA version of him, which is the proto Justice League they had during World War II.
Interesting.
Oh.
That would be really cool. But you could also get like some weird zany like Ant-Man antics out of it, where it's like things aren't exactly working the way they're supposed to, and
Yeah, an elixir that gives you powers for an hour sounds like it ripe for shenanigans, and I feel like that would fit with like kind of the tone of a Shazam, just like a little more light if they wanted to do that, but probably not if it's going to be like fighting Nazis, because that's not very light.
I'm sorry, Seamus. We've done the Rocketeer for this show. I think you know that fighting Nazis can be light and poppy.
Oh, that's true. There's some pretty fun Nazi gags in that one somehow, but that's a lost episode.
It was Nazi fun for the whole family.
The gangsters get in on it. It's the best.
Oh, it's so good. The Rocketeer's so good. It's a
We
shame
need to
that
do-
episode is just like
We need to do
gone.
the Rocketeer revisited. Truly, I would do
Yeah,
that
maybe
again.
maybe we do need to straight up re-record that episode, because that echo is unlistenable.
Truly, we'll watch the Rocketeer again, and then we'll take in a couple episodes of that kids show you were talking about. I would give that a shot.
All right, but speaking of TV, guys, Rian Johnson, writer and director of Knives Out and the universally beloved film The Last Jedi, will be writing and directing a new Murder of the Week series called Poker Face, starring Natasha Lyonne, and it will be coming to Peacock.
I loved all the words you just said, except Peacock.
Right up until the end of that sentence, you had him. But yeah, I was thinking before I wasn't gonna do it for The Office. I've seen it enough times. I wasn't gonna do it for Parks and Rec. I've seen it enough times. but like, damn, this sounds like a lot of fun. I like Rian Johnson a lot, despite what I think about his Star Wars. I think that he's so strong, and obviously we can see from Knives Out that he's not a novice when it comes to like really engaging and fun murder mystery stuff.
Yeah, this sounds like Knives Out, the TV series.
And that sounds great to me.
Well, he's a huge Columbo fan, so I can only imagine that this will be taking a lot of cues from that, not to mention that Natasha Lyonne is perfect for that kind of role.
Wait, is she playing like the constable? Like, is she a detective? I thought it was
well, you'd assume so, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I really don't know anything about this. I mean,
it's gonna be, it's a detective, it's a murder mystery show, so she's playing a PI.
Dope. I like a good PI.
And she's just great in general, in most things she's in.
Oh yeah.
Peacock. Yeah, this is gonna be a lot of fun.
Peacock's got us. We're stuck.
Well, speaking of things that we're stuck with, you guys like Star Wars?
You say that like I'm not reveling in all of this Star Wars news, Garrett.
Well, this has stuff that I definitely grew up on, like ancient DVDs of and videotape rips and stuff. But the Ewoks 80s animated series, the Ewoks TV movies Caravan and Courage and The Battle of Endor, the story of the Faithful Wookiee animated short from the Star Wars Holiday Special, and Tartakovsky's Star Wars Clone Wars 2D animated series are all coming to Disney Plus April 2nd.
Wow.
That's a lot. That's a lot of stuff.
And shocking stuff, to be honest.
Because, yeah, they won't even put on the real Christmas special on Disney Plus. This is such, like, extended, like, barely canon periphery weird Star Wars stuff that they're giving to us for some reason, and I kind of love it.
I'm not.
What are you talking about? These are canon. If it's on Disney Plus, it's canon.
I'm not surprised that they're putting Ewoks and Clone Wars on, because they're both cartoons with a pretty decent-sized cult following. But, like, I don't think anybody's clamoring for the Ewok movies or the story of the Faithful Wookiee to be on Disney Plus.
What is the story of the Faithful Wookiee?
It's the Boba Fett animated short from the holiday special.
Oh.
It is
so
like the best part
so
of
it
that.
Does exist. Disney.
Yeah.
Do acknowledge it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they might as well just bite the bullet and give us what we want. The full HD remastered Christmas special.
Well, that's the thing. This is the first time that any of these titles are going to be available in anything above 480p.
Oh my god, yeah.
Awesome.
That's going to be the wildest to see those live-action Wookiee ones.
It's the first time that Ewoks, the cartoon, is going to be available, like, all of it's going to be available on home video, period. And I wouldn't be surprised if that means the animated droids series isn't far behind.
They're just cleaning house in the archives. They're giving us everything they got, and I love it.
As prepping for May 4th and the Bad Batch, we're actually going to be doing this version of the Clone Wars for our May 2nd episode, so be sure to tune in then.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the old 2D Clone Wars. There's some, like, genuinely badass moments in that one that I can't wait to see. Like, the last time I watched it was straight up, like, you can find it on YouTube, and you can get, like, a DVD of it, I think, from back in the day.
I had the
but
DVDs.
I mean, I will definitely be happy to have those all in one official place.
Here is some TV news that I am just hyped out of my mind about, which is that the production team behind Justified is reuniting for another FX series based on the Elmore Leonard novel City Primeval, High Noon in Detroit, and the rumor is that Timothy Olyphant is potentially returning from his Justified Raylan Givens role, so break out that Olyfans hashtag, boys, because we're back in it, maybe.
Everybody saw Olyphant do Cobb Vanth, and they got foaming at the mouth for more, just like you guys did. And I mean, it would be awesome to see him come back. He's a treasure.
So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to keep posted on this. I really hope he comes back.
We're gonna have to do a whole Justified recap, just like we do for all the Marvel shows.
Oh, hell yeah, that'd be awesome.
I would love that, yeah. All right, and our last bit of news is that PlayStation Play at Home continues with 10 free games, including Horizon Zero Dawn, which will be available for a limited time, absolutely for free. You don't need a PlayStation Plus subscription, starting April 19th. And then starting March 25th for limited time, Abzu, The Witness, Enter the Gungeon, Subnautica, Res Infinite, Moss, Astrobot Mission Rescue VR, Paper Beast, and Thumper will all be available as well, which I'm really glad. I almost bought The Witness last month when it was on sale for $10, and I'm glad I did not.
There's some real good ones in here. I actually had The Witness. I don't even know when it was free on PS Plus, but I got it a million years ago, and I gave it a shot yesterday. A lot of fun. You're gonna have fun with that one. But the slew of VR games, like the last 5 games, are VR based, and some titles that I've wanted to try forever. So I'm very excited about like Astrobot specifically and Thumper because, oh man, I gotta put that helmet to use.
I'm gonna be little Mr. Humble Brag and talk about how good Astrobot PS5 is, Astro's Playroom.
Yes, I that is also what I've been seeing. I want to be in the loop. I want to know the lore of Astrobot before I get a PS5.
Well, maybe Seamus, you can come over and you'll bring your PSVR setup and I'll play Astrobot Rescue Mission and you'll play Astro's Playroom, and we'll swap
off.
vibe.
It'll be great. Have either of you guys played Horizon Zero Dawn? That's kind of the bigger title in this lineup. It's like AAA, incredible, a lot of Game of the Year awards when it came out. I'm pretty hyped for that, for sure.
I still have it sealed. I've been waiting for like a PS5 update, and so I'm probably going to try to see if GameStop will give me some return credit for that, just since,
yeah, hey,
it's going to be free.
Yeah, if you're getting it for free anyway, see if you can get that cool $5 back from GameStop.
That's the caveman robot dinosaur?
Yeah,
game?
Robo Dinosaurs bow and arrow combat. I'm here for it.
All right, let's move on to our main segment, Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Oh my god.
All right, boys. It's finally here, the moment we've been waiting for since never, but I'm pleasantly
Come
surprised
together right now.
Oh my
here.
Justice League.
I literally had no idea what you were doing for a second there, but that is horrible.
But this movie, shockingly, is not. What did you guys think of Zack Snyder's Justice League?
I'm like almost at a loss for words here. It's like we've been straight dunking on this concept of like the movie that was bullied into existence by the fans that needed to see, the original vision. But now that I've seen that original vision, I'm kind of, I don't know, I guess I can't say too much because it was genuinely better than what I remember the original one being.
It was such an odd journey for me. Because Man of Steel is meh. It's a whatever. I despise BVS. I think it's a piece of garbage. But I like this, man. This new cut, way better than whatever we got last time.
As somebody who is going in blind to this movie, having not seen BVS or Justice League, I really was pleasantly surprised at one, the fact that I didn't really feel like I was missing anything by not having seen either of those films. I obviously knew that Superman had died, just because how do I avoid that spoiler from BVS? And that probably helped me going in, which is something my parents probably wouldn't know if they tried to watch it.
Right, yeah.
I mean, it's still too long. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. This did not need to be 4 hours.
No, but I want to, because I think we're going to have mostly nice things to say about this movie, which is not what I was expecting, but I do want to come out and say that I have seen a very large effort online to kind of reframe this as look at these loyal fans coming to the aid of this bereaved director and trying to get him his movie back. And while I have complete sympathy for Zack Snyder and what he's been through, and I'm glad that he did get to make the movie that he wanted to make, especially after everything that's come out with Joss Whedon and what was happening during the reshoots and everything else. The fact of the matter is that there was an incredibly toxic, hate-filled internet campaign behind the greenlighting of this, quote, Snyder Cut. And I feel like that needs to be kept in the conversation because it was so caustic for so long. And I feel like just because this is a decent movie and definitely better than most people expected it to be, people are kind of willing to forget that.
Yeah, I don't think that should be forgotten either. Like, we talked about it for so long because it seemed like, you know, that there is kind of a problem culture around that where you can, like, weaponize your toxicity as a fan base to, like, get whatever you want in a certain way. And yeah, I don't know. I think you're very much right that should be, like, accounted for when thinking about how this movie came into existence.
That being said, I liked this movie. I mean, it was still like superhero garbage, but at least it was like competent superhero garbage.
Yeah, I mean, like, all of the stuff, because I didn't do a rewatch of any of the other DC movies to get prepped for this, and I kind of wanted to keep it that way, going in cold a little bit, to just, like, give my honest impressions, trying not to so much compare it to the Joss Whedon cut, like the original cut. But everything that I noticed that seemed different enough, like, really did it for me. Like, every smaller detail that seemed changed, or even, like, the massive scenes that were just straight cut from the original and reworked entirely with new characters, I think it was just wholly impressive.
I want to quick shout out how good Ray Fisher is in this movie. Like, what a difficult performance that must have been, walking around in a huge mocap rig.
Hell yeah, especially, you know, covering half your face, I assume?
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. It's just, like, the way that he is able to bring through so much emotion in a character that you cannot see most of his face, I am really blown away.
Now you know why he was so mad. Did this man dirty. They cut his entire arc out of the first one.
Okay, so I think we should probably mark spoilers, even though, like, we're not getting into that quite, or even though we're not getting into too heavy spoiler territory right now. I just want to make sure for people who haven't watched it yet, and I completely understand why, because it's so long,
yeah.
that we're just going to mark, like, because even technically, I think, since this is really, it's from the sounds of it, an entirely new film for the most part, I want to make sure that even if somebody's seen the regular Justice League and hasn't gone around to Snyder Cut yet, that they aren't going to get anything too much taken away from that experience. So I think we should just call spoilers now.
Yeah, that's a good call. It's you're not wrong when you say it is a very different movie, for sure. Just, you'd think, like, 4 hours long, they're just going to be, like, adding on stuff to what was, like, originally formed and, like, trying to just, like, expand, but it is, like, very much new.
So yeah, that's official spoiler warning. And Ricardo, going back to your point, he should have been the main character of this movie. The fact that they take him so long to introduce, I think, is one of the shortcomings of this film, because he is such a dynamic performance and storyline. And when I read, after I watched the movie, that most of his storyline was cut from the theatrical version, I was in shock, because he's the heart of this movie.
Damn, you really haven't seen any of the other ones, have you?
No, I have literally I've not seen Justice League. I know almost nothing about Justice League. And so, watching this, I was really surprised to learn that. I mean, to be fair, this movie, if it were released theatrically, would have just been a garbage fire. Like, nobody would have gone to see it. I completely understand why WB wouldn't want to release, like, this specific movie, but
maybe if they did the whole Harry Potter thing, part 1 and 2.
I mean, that's the thing, is that a big part of the problem with this movie is the fact that Flash and Cyborg should have had their own movies before this movie.
Absolutely agree on that one, actually.
Yeah. They had to introduce basically everybody, because I don't think even Wonder Woman was out at this point when it was supposed to.
Was Wonder Woman? No way. No, Wonder Woman definitely came out before Justice League.
Yeah, that was between Batman v Superman and Justice League for sure.
Aquaman, then. Aquaman, being, yes. They had to introduce basically everybody.
Yeah, it's a lot of legwork to do, and that's part of the reason this movie's 4 hours, is because it has an hour-long first act. And I mean, that's crazy. It has a first act longer than some movies.
Yeah, Jesus, and yeah, it feels like that the length really does get to you for a while, but I will say that the inclusion of the like segmented like part 1 through 6, was it, or 7?
Mm-hmm. Well, 7 if you count the epilogue.
Right, yes, 7 if you count the epilogue. I actually didn't watch it all in one sitting. I kind of broke up my viewing, and I think that helped me a lot. It kind of made it a little more digestible to not go from, the whole 4 hours at once.
Real quick, I just want to, before I forget, talk about how this is our second surprise Miles Dyson scientist pop-up in a couple weeks.
Oh yeah, God.
The great Joe Morton doing I think a really good performance that I'm assuming most of got cut for the theatrical version.
I'm struggling to remember that version. I've just blocked it out of my head. I surprised myself by looking at my old Letterboxd score of it, but I think...
What was your score?
I think it was 1.5 stars for the original one. I really did not enjoy it.
See, that's the thing. You're talking about the OG Justice League, right? The Whedon cut?
Yes, the Whedon cut.
Because, I'm kind of with you. I don't really like that movie either. But coming out of it, there were parts of it, that I did like. And to my shock, a lot of the parts that I liked from the Whedon cut are in the Snyder cut.
Because I think Zack Snyder said that there's no Whedon stuff in this movie. So that it's all... So it's literally every shot was directed by him. So, it sounds like Whedon reshot a lot of that movie. So, it's not surprising to me that it bears little resemblance.
Yeah, I almost think it would be worth it to go just see what that version is like. I don't want to subject you to that version.
I've got to say, I'm curious now. I'm genuinely curious.
It would be just an interesting experiment to see how different of an animal the theatrical cut is, because man, oh man, I'm stuff I was expecting to see is just fully gone. I love it.
I've got to say, I cannot stand Ezra Miller. He is so annoying. And
in general or in this movie?
Both. But even if I had no idea who Ezra Miller was, I still would not be able to stand the Flash in this movie. Especially because I don't think he feels like Barry Allen at all.
Yeah, not really.
It's kind of like an Andrew Garfield, Peter Parker situation where it's technically all the things that are supposed to be there are there, but it just doesn't feel right.
Yeah, I wasn't crazy about him, but I will say he kind of grows on me.
I adored the sequence where he saves Kiersey Clemens from the car wreck. That was one of my favorite parts of the movie.
Yeah, the great Quicksilver sequence, right when he's trying to get his job, or 10th job. I think it probably comes from my lack of knowledge about the Flash specifically, but I didn't hate him. I thought, I knew what he was there for, some quippy lightness to cut through the dark stuff going on, but is Ezra Miller the guy who choked that one person out or whatever, or is that the other Flash?
He punched one of his fans who ran up to him.
Oh, he did that too?
Oh, that was both of them.
Oh, okay. I didn't know about the choking thing.
Oh, yeah, he choked this one woman at a bar somewhere in Europe, I don't know. Yeah. But I've seen the video.
Not great.
I was kind of hoping it was the CW Flash, but I had a feeling it wasn't.
Yeah, I do not like him in general. I found his character in this way too manic to even be funny. If he had just not been so, everything's all over the place. I to do this. I'm going so fast. And I'm like, this is it felt like a Lilo and Stitch character. Where it's I have super speed, so of course everything I say is really fast.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I guess it could have been handled better. I think that maybe you suggested an origin movie a little bit, or just a movie before this. Maybe not even a Flash origin movie, but just something a little more set up to get settled in with that kind of character could give him a little more of an edge to be more likable. But he does kind of. He's exhausting a little bit on screen sometimes.
I like his scene in Suicide Squad.
He has a scene in Suicide Squad? I'm sorry, it's been a while.
When they show him arresting...
You've seen Suicide Squad?
I saw that opening weekend in theaters. Thank you, sir.
He arrests Jai Courtney in a flashback, and he says something quippy.
Oh, right. Does he have long hair in that, maybe?
Maybe. I don't know. I saw it years ago,
it's not
but I
good.
remember that and being like, oh, it's the Flash, that's fun, and then Nope, no more Flash.
I will say, like, seeing Wonder Woman doing cool Wonder Woman stuff again was nice instead of, like, 1984. Like, it felt a lot more, bearable to watch for sure.
When you got
How'd
the
you
Wonder
like
Woman
her
theme
backup
going.
singers?
Her backup singers.
Yeah.
I don't know. It fit the mood for me. I'll allow it. Yeah, and her like electric guitar riff that goes off when she's like doing badass things.
Wonder Woman is not my favorite series in the world, but like when those movies work, and they work largely because of the score.
Yeah, it helps it along for sure.
I dug her doing the whole bomb bank thing at the beginning, even though, I mean, there's so much from this movie that needs to be cut. If they would just, I know this is Zack Snyder's MO, but if at the end of every scene they didn't have to have slow-mo for 3 minutes of a character walking away from that scene, it would cut so much of this movie's runtime.
Oh yeah, man, the slow-mo's bananas.
even like besides the Flash's slow-mo stuff, there's like a noticeable amount of slow-mo, slow-down moments. It's great.
There's like a scene where Aquaman just like walks out to the beach drinking some whiskey, and it's like 1.5 minutes long.
Oh my god!
And I'm like, why is this in the movie?
But ain't he sexy though?
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
yeah.
Wait, doesn't he also have like a chorus of background singers as he's like going back into the ocean?
Yeah.
There's like a female choir. It's the weirdest.
Yeah, the music choices in this I wasn't a huge fan of, but I can look over that.
I didn't mind it.
I just thought it was funny.
It was a vibe. Zack Snyder's all about vibes.
Very true.
That's his whole. He doesn't have substance. He just has vibes, and I think I dug the vibes in this movie for the most part, which is why I'm so surprised that it worked. Like, it had competent writing, and I actually was enjoying myself most of the time. I did not care even a little bit about the bad guys or the plot or whatever, but I enjoyed the characters. Here's an example. Having the movie be in 4:3 is not something I minded at all. I thought it was kind of refreshing to see something not be, in mega widescreen. It was just kind of fun to see how superhero movies would be shot in 4:3. But I mean, there's not really a reason for that. It's not like you're trying to show scale. It's not like a King Kong movie or something where you would justify having a taller frame. And so it's just, it's a vibe. It's Zack Snyder's like, I think it'd be cool in 4:3, and it is.
Yeah, I didn't mind it at all. I thought it was an interesting choice, and I mean, I guess did we even say flat out, like, even referencing our intro, this movie starts with, like, a very clear message that the movie's in 4:3 aspect ratio to preserve Zack Snyder's artistic integrity, and...
Don't worry, your TV's not broken, folks.
Yeah, it's just like a warning to be like, it's fine, but, like you said, Gary, it's an interesting choice.
I guess I just don't fully get it. Like, why, though?
That's what I'm saying. There's nothing to get. It's just a vibe. That's Zack Snyder's whole thing. There's no reason behind it. It's just like, it's cool, and so he does it, and that's it. It's like the Michael Bay School of Filmmaking. It really is. Which I think they went to college together. I think Michael Bay and Zack Snyder went to college together, which would make so much sense.
Anyone that's kind of met me knows BVS is a big old steaming pile of garbage, and I hate it so much. And he had total creative control over that one, too. How is this one so much better? I actually enjoyed this.
I mean, that's what it is. There are certain things that the studio probably wanted from BVS that he had to put in. Directors are just better or worse sometimes. Like, Sucker Punch and 300, one of those is a better movie. They're not, neither of them are good movies. I mean, it's not because one of them's art or anything, it's just because one of them's better. But I just, in my little Google, I actually found something very interesting. That Michael Bay and Zack Snyder did go to the Art Center College of Design at the same time, but also Michael Bay was at Wesleyan at the same time that Joss Whedon was.
Oh my god. It's all coming together. Oh, Jesus. This is the Hollywood conspiracy that everybody's been clamoring for.
Michael Bay is the real director of Justice League, guys. It all makes sense.
I was going to say all three, it's like a reverse Shakespeare. All three of those names are just one guy that is like making movies under different names.
What else? There was something else I had to say about this movie. Probably, I liked when Wonder Woman put the arrow in the thing like it's national treasure.
Oh yeah, that was weird. Didn't they gave a little redesign to Steppenwolf for this one? Did they give him that?
Which one is Is he
He's
the one that's not Darkseid?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
Big,
the main
big
one.
axe guy. He's got clickety clackety armor now. I like that design.
He looks like a World of Warcraft character.
Yeah, a little bit.
This is
I remember...
Speaking of Steppenwolf, this is just a way better Steppenwolf from the original Whedon cut of this. He's in that one. As much as he is in this one too, kind of a generic gray bad guy, he was worse in the Whedon cut. They gave him like a motive. It's not much, but they gave him a motivation. I like that this version of Steppenwolf is just kind of a loser who's just deeply in debt and is so desperate to try to go home.
I kept calling him Metal Thanos whenever Annie would come by and be like, "What's going on?" I'd be like, "Metal Thanos is gonna fight Wonder Woman." She'd be like, "Okay."
And he's gonna bring forth all the other Thanoses from Planet Thanos.
The Infinity Boxes just coming together for that.
Oh yeah, who even cares? Not me. I love that they get like literally halfway through this movie before they even tell me what the stupid things are. I was like, "What are these things?" Lex Luthor, why aren't you here to tell me?
No, don't say that. We don't want him in here.
I don't care. But I liked the flashback thing with David Thewlis is in there.
Damn, that's literally just what I was about to bring up. Me and you, man, on the same page. They sprinkle some Lantern Corps buddies in that flashback too, to keep us looking forward to the future.
Also, Zack Snyder, that cheeky little boy. Did you notice that the main human in that like old alliance, the axe that he's wielding looks like the bat symbol?
Oh man, I didn't even notice that.
Like he's got a big battle axe with two like curves, like two blades on a blade on either side that makes it like a big, like it looks like the Keaton Batman symbol.
Whoa, screw it. Bruce Wayne ancestor fought in that battle. They're all related.
Well, that's what I think it's just, not that it matters, but I just think the imagery of, we've got an Amazon, we've got an Atlantean, we've got a human that has the Batman imagery. I think that's very clever. And not that it's like earth-shattering or thematic or deep. It's just like something that's a cute visual nod.
Yeah. I thought it was a cool way to set up, like, because that's the flashback? Is that where they show, like, what the mother boxes would actually do to a planet?
When they combine and
Yeah, a lot better stakes set up there, because I'm, again, remembering back to the original cut and just, like, how little I cared about any of the, like, threat that was going on. Like, I probably, a couple days ago before rewatching this, I could not have even told you what was going to happen with the boxes. I just remember there were boxes.
Oh, we didn't talk about Martian Manhunter yet, which is crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, did that get you?
Was he in the original?
No.
I mean,
that general character has been, though.
Yeah, I remember him from Man of Steel, and I was like, oh, okay, so he's the Martian Manhunter. That's fine. But I mean, I've said on the show before how much I want to see Martian Manhunter come into the live action realm.
And he looks cool. I like how he looks, and like his attitude is very on point.
He's here, and he doesn't do anything, ever. he does nothing important.
I thought it was a really weird... I mean, Amy Adams is great, and so I understand wanting to capitalize on having Amy Adams in your movie, but I have no idea why there's so much Lois Lane in this movie.
Oh my god, yeah, just like really far too much of just her. Because I get sad memorial visit.
She's the key, Garrett.
Okay.
Lois Lane is the key.
Real quick, I want to talk about the nightmare that Bruce has at the end, which, okay, Superman's bad in the future or something, I guess.
Oh man,
yeah, sure.
This is probably a good time to bring up one of the biggest parts that I liked from the first one that was cut, that is straight up like what they're kind of working with in that ending, and like when they're referencing that Lois is the key thing. Like, do you know anything about that?
Well, is the implication that I got just from watching this movie is that Lois Lane is dead in the future, and that's the thing that drove Superman to be evil.
I mean, yeah, that's the basics of it for sure. But this little remix at the end of the new one is definitely a different idea of how they were like showing this future.
I know. Okay, so we've got weird.
I never
deepfake
liked the
Ezra
Nightmare.
Miller.
Is that why he looked weird?
I mean,
he did look a little weird, right?
They aged him up, but it looks bad.
He's got an Iron Man helmet. It's fine.
We've got Amber Heard. How many terrible people are in this movie? We've got Amber Heard. God, yeah. We've got...
Who's British for some reason.
Was she British in the... I didn't see Aquaman. Is she British in Aquaman? Because that really surprised me when she started talking.
She's not.
Wait, really? I didn't see Aquaman either, but that is just shocking. I don't know what the excuse for that is.
Like I said, it's a vibe. That's all Zack Snyder cares about. He's like, what if she were British, though?
You're not
I think
wrong.
the whole nightmare sequence is dumb.
Oh, sure.
It could cut it entirely. It's so the movie was already over. We didn't need any of that.
Oh, I remember when they killed Silver Thanos, and I was like, there's still 30 minutes left in this movie. I was like, what is going on?
Come on, they had to leave you with that Jared Leto Joker who's a partner of Batman and the Flash.
Okay, but are they never gonna just I really thought this was gonna be them pulling the trigger and being like, he is Robin. And they got close, but they didn't say it. And I'm like, are we really ever gonna see Jared Leto Joker again? Why didn't you just do it? You could have done it, and you didn't, and...
Oh, wait, you mean, like, Jared Leto Joker is Robin?
Yeah.
That would have been awesome. I mean, damn. Like you said, missed opportunity. Never gonna happen again. He was already, like, cut from being on screen at all in Birds of Prey. I don't think he's getting his own standalone, is he?
Because, like, I don't think so. And I think, like, isn't the implication that I always had kind of interpreted that the Joker being so young and Batman being so old indicates that it's Jason Todd is you know.
That would be dark and
Jared
awesome.
Leto
but...
old now too? Aren't he in?
Well,
Jared Leto's
younger than Ben Affleck,
Jared
I guess.
Leto's like 20 years younger than Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck is 1,000 years old? What do you mean?
Is it how old? Here, let me Google how old, because Ben Affleck's what? Almost 60?
Jared Leto's 49.
Is he really?
Damn, he
Yeah,
looks
49.
incredible.
He really does look really good. I mean, Jared Leto's a terrible person. Again, everybody's a terrible person.
Are we talking about because of his Joker antics specifically, or did he do something else I don't know about?
Doesn't he run like a cult?
I'm not kidding, boys. I'm so sorry. Jared Leto is a year older than Ben Affleck.
What?
Wow.
Whoa! This is a bombshell. That's insane. Jared Leto, my man. You are like sucking the souls out of the cult people you have worship you or something, because you look great, my man.
But yeah, so, okay, that completely... I just always assumed Jared Leto was like really, really young, or at least way younger than Ben Affleck.
Like in Blade Runner, isn't he supposed to be like the young, like CEO guy? I mean, yeah. I don't know.
So anyway, okay, maybe he's not Jason. Maybe he's not Jason Todd. I just always assumed it was Jason Todd.
I mean, there's a part in Batman v Superman where they show like the bloodied and beaten Robin suit covered in like Joker stuff. So
that's what I'm saying. I remembered that from the trailer, and so I had always just kind of been like, it's such a different take on the Joker, and he's so much younger, even though apparently he isn't. And so all of that to me, and then especially when he started talking about Robin in this one, I was like, oh, okay, so they're going to pull the trigger and make it Jason Todd, and they didn't.
Is he better than Suicide Squad Joker? Yes. Still not very good, though.
Oh, yeah, no, it's not interesting.
I mean, it like, that ragtag apocalypse group does look like it could be some form of, like, Suicide Squad team-up movie in a way, but yeah, I don't know. Like you said, it's not that much better than what Jared Leto brings to the table regularly in Suicide Squad, so...
No, I don't have any desire to see that character again, but I thought this was their opportunity to, again...
Like, give it a little something else, but...
Yeah.
I liked his design of, like, having all the police badges of the cops he's presumably killed. Like, that's pretty cool.
Oh, I didn't even think that that's what that was, but yeah, no, you're definitely right about that.
Yeah, that's a Joker thing to do, but that's like it, kinda.
So yeah, we're never going to see another... I don't think we're going to see a sequel to this. Zack Snyder says he doesn't want to do it. I think that's probably a lie, but sure.
Restore the Snyderverse. That's the new chant.
Oh, wow. Hashtag. Is that the new... If this gains enough popularity, this new cut, do you think that's the next step? Are we just... This is what we are now?
It's already floating around.
Oh, good. Great.
I'm happy to eat crow on air and say, you know, this movie was actually almost watchable if it were not for the length.
Yeah, God.
And that there's quite a lot of it I enjoyed, and I wish they'd released it as a 3-part miniseries.
Yeah, straight up. I completely agree. Like, felt, like, comfortable in an episodic, format. So, maybe that would have been the better move, but we just got this long one.
I watched this with 3 other big old DC nerds, so I'm probably a little biased, but I had a really good time with this. And like you said, I'm happy to be wrong. Because again, I hated BVS, so that's what I was expecting from this. It's like, oh, I despise that movie. So it's just going to be that again for 4 hours. But yeah, this surprised me. I didn't expect to enjoy myself as much as I did.
Absolutely, same here. Just like pleasantly surprised in like the most honest way. Just pleasantly surprised.
And I hope Henry Cavill is coming back for more Superman, because he's just really good actor, and they've not used him properly yet.
Oh yeah, no, his Superman is still pretty bad. I think that's why I like this movie. He's not in a lot of it.
Yeah, he really isn't in it until like the third act, which is like
it's literally the
so
third
many
act
hours
of
in.
Superman. It's not good. That part's not good. And I want somebody to come in and like because Henry Cavill's such a good actor and he could be such a good Superman. And if they got somebody who actually understood that character to come in and handle it, I would really like to see that.
Like, do you want him to be like cast again in a reboot, or like as a continuation of what we have? Because I think it might be.
It doesn't matter.
You just want him. Yeah, like that is the sentiment of all of this. Is like, besides maybe Flashpoint, this is the last hurrah of this little universe attempt.
Well, I mean, they're still gonna have Wonder Woman or whatever, but like
Shazam too. But like, how much is Shazam even that related? I know Superman's at the end or whatever, but
Shazam's kind of a Deadpool area where it's just like it doesn't really need to be attached to any canon. It's kind of in its own playing field.
What if that's where they start? What if they just take Shazam, they fold in Hourman, and we get a little fun, goofy extended universe going instead?
Well, we'll see what happens next, but we're going to talk about the potential future of this DC universe in our pop culture reference of the episode coming up right after this.
We will be discussing the anti-life equation, because I don't think we brought it up when we were talking about it, but Darkseid is in the Snyder Cut.
Oh yeah, I forgot about him.
He stands there real menacingly on the other side of a boom tube.
Very much early Thanos vibes of just like sitting around on a space throne.
You know what's kind of messed up? Everyone is always going to compare Darkseid to Thanos now, just because Thanos came out first. But also, in terms of creation, Darkseid has been around way longer than Thanos has been. If anything, Thanos is a Darkseid ripoff.
I think the bigger issue is that the way that these movies are structured as trying to replicate the success of the Marvel formula, and the way the Darkseid and what's his stupid name? Steppenwolf were kind of positioned as the Thanos eye of the DC universe, if that makes sense. We're here to talk about the Infinity Gauntlet. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean the anti-life equation.
I was gonna say
you mean the mother boxes.
Yeah, same ultimate end goal there. It really is just for, isn't it? I guess he doesn't know about the anti-life equation being there until halfway through, but...
So yeah, let's talk about what is the anti-life equation in the comics, and how potentially it could pop up in later DC films.
It's a little tricky, because if you want to get down to it, I don't think anyone knows what the exact anti-life equation is, but... in terms of plot-wise and in universe, that's Darkseid's whole thing. He's obsessed with the anti-life equation, which is a mathematical formula that proves the futility of existence and free will. In the wrong hands, the formula is a terrible weapon with the power to brainwash and enslave entire worlds.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Definitely just pure big bad guy stuff. Just full control of life and death in the universe, and he just wants it because he's evil.
And it plays a role in Flashpoint, right, in the comics? Am I crazy? I've not read Flashpoint, but...
No, it doesn't in Flashpoint. But we're here. It does play a pretty cool part in a story called Deceased. Did you get that one? It's
yeah, that's pretty clever.
Which is basically Marvel Zombies, but for DC. It's kind of a what-if story, where it's basically... Thanos finally does it, he gets the anti-life equation, and it spreads through technology, so anyone that looks at it is instantly converted into this mindless killing machine.
Wait, this
His
is
sole purpose.
this is DC, right?
Lori's-
You said Thanos
Yeah.
does this?
Did I?
I think so. You're talking about Darkseid, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, I just want to make sure I'm on the same page. I was very confused for just a moment.
Darkseid finally gets the anti-life equation. He sends it out. It spreads through technology. Anyone that looks at it becomes a mindless killing machine. And, it's DC Zombies. It's a fun time. It's a good book.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. I do like those what-if zombie stories when series get into them. I would like to see... I mean, they made a pretty big deal about it. Like, they made it feel very important in this movie specifically, so I hope they do something with it and not just kind of let it fall through the cracks.
Well, I read an interview with Zack Snyder where he talked about how DC discouraged him from doing setups in his movie because he doesn't really have an intention of making another one, and they don't really have an intention of making another one, but that he was adamant that he'd do it because that's the genre, and you know what? I respect that. Like, the idea of genre convention being really important to an audience's enjoyment of a film. And not that it can't be subverted, but I do think that it makes it feel more like a complete vision and not just like, oh, we're doing the Snyder Cut. So, yeah, I'd be curious about where we'd see this pop up. I feel like the most likely scenario is like a Wonder Woman, potentially.
Yeah, I could see that. Flashpoint might be tricky considering they're maybe going to be reworking some stuff with that plot, but I think if they wanted to kind of turn around the Wonder Woman after 1984, I mean, like, make it a full trilogy and kind of make her the main focus of the DC universe instead of someone like Superman or Batman.
I guess we could see it in a Superman movie too, couldn't we?
If your dreams come true and they bring Cavill back.
Or even if they do, I mean, I have no idea what kind of continuity this new Superman movie that we talked about a couple weeks ago is going to be in. But, I mean, who knows? I think it's very possible we could see the anti-life equation pop up in a, like, non-same continuity, but they're still, like, they still promised the anti-life equation so they could bring it in another property or something.
Yeah, I think I could see that. Kind of trying to set up a universe again, this time maybe a little more successfully.
Who knows?
Let's go to Apocalypse. Let's meet Granny Goodness.
Granny Goodness.
Yeah, she was in this movie. She was just standing there, but she was in this movie.
Yeah, I was like, there's a lot of thugs just standing there in Asgard with Darkseid. Alright, well, this has been our kind of rambling, speculative pop culture reference, basically a way for anybody who watched the Snyder Cut or even, the original cut of Justice League to get a glimpse into what on earth they're talking about and if it's going to play a role in the future.
Pop quiz.
Boys, you know what time it is. Can you redeem yourselves after last week's miserable showing where neither of you got a point? I mean, both of you did know the answer to one of the questions technically, but it was still a tie, so that's a net 0.
What?
Which means it's going to be Seamus's turn to pick the category once again. The man just, he can't stop losing.
Oh, you bastard. I was going to let that other stuff slide, Garrett, but you're on thin ice, buddy.
The categories for you to pick today, Seamus, are either Oscar nominations or PlayStation.
I think I'm going to have to go with PlayStation on this one.
Alright, well, you guys know how this game works, but for those of you playing along at home, the first one of you to give me the correct answer gets the point. If you guys say it at the same time, or neither of you knows the answer, we're going to move on to our tiebreaker question. Alright, here we go with our PlayStation category question. This is the second year of PlayStation's stay-at-home promotion. What 2 games were featured last March for PS4 owners?
Oh, damn. I think I have them sitting in my library, too.
Well, was Ratchet & Clank last month? That's one of them, right?
That was this year, I believe.
Oh, last year?
Yes, we're looking at March 2020. Sorry, I'll clarify that.
Oh, damn.
So this is the second year of the PlayStation stay-at-home promotion. What was the first year's titles? There are 2.
Uncharted.
Oh, was it...
And another game.
It was, Detroit Become Human? Damn. What was it?
Can either of you get more specific for me?
Uncharted, the Nathan Drake collection.
Uncharted 4. Uncharted, the Lost Legacy.
Ricardo. No, I'm gonna give it to Ricardo.
Damn.
Even though he only got half of it, but I will give it to Ricardo because he got it right.
Damn.
So the answer was Uncharted, the Nathan Drake collection, and Journey.
Journey! Oh, that is one of my favorite games of all time. That was a pretty good couple of games back then. That's really good. Damn. Well, my winning streak is on a quick hiatus. I still don't know what the end number we're looking for a quick win is.
You can't get me, Seamus. I got vaccinated yesterday. I'm invincible.
Oh no, you're going to be dancing on my grave one day.
Well, Ricardo's up to 9 points and Seamus is down at 6, so we'll see if he can come back from it.
I got this. I can do it. I got to win like 4 weeks in a row, but I can do it.
And then maybe one day you too can win Garrett's house.
Oh, that's the dream.
Alright, now it's time for Howling Commandos, where we break down the episodes of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I'm really excited to talk about this premiere with you guys. So I think
when Captain America throws his mighty shield. I'm with you, man. I'm hyped.
I think maybe we should just kind of like we did for WandaVision, just mark spoilers because they get into this plot pretty quick. But overall, I thought this was a much stronger pilot than WandaVision, even if it did feel a little bit more generic Marvel.
Yeah, I loved seeing what was happening in Westview and all that, but that's such an isolated bubble. I really did like seeing a little bit more of, post-snap life, or I guess what
post-snap life.
Post-snap life. Yeah, whatever it is. Everybody's back and things are hard for people who have been gone in like really real ways that I never really thought about, and I don't know. It's cool.
Let's mark spoilers before we get into too many specifics.
Yes.
I think. But yeah, Seamus, you were alluding to.
Your credit score.
Yeah, this is a Marvel property that deals with the fallout of financial loss during the blip and systemic racism. So
yeah, kind of exactly that.
A fascinating thing. I liked that. Here are things I liked about this pilot more than I liked the WandaVision pilot. It had characters and a plot.
So did the WandaVision pilot.
Well, those were more of just like tropes and some tropes, but
it was a sitcom. They made a sitcom. What more did you want?
WandaVision is so
story.
Special in what it is. This is like a little more standard.
They told you it was gonna be a sitcom,
and I don't
they did.
Don't forget, I really enjoyed the last episode of WandaVision and the fact that I think it really did actually finally focus fully on the character work that was at play. But I think this has similar goals of focusing in a more realistic and grounded way, in a way that television is better at understanding what's going on behind the scenes with these characters and the toll it would take on them emotionally. And I really appreciated seeing that reflected in a way that I felt like gives it a lot more of a solid base to grow out of than WandaVision. WandaVision is a cool experiment, but I think that this has really solid, grounded character work that could potentially grow into a more dynamic and interesting piece on like what is the fallout of being an Avenger, and apparently what is the fallout of being a Black Avenger.
Yeah, truly. It's gonna hit some pretty deep points, I think, of just like between Sam and like his family and his sister and him trying to like kind of make up for. It feels like he's making up for being gone a little bit, both in just being snapped for 5 years, but also just like his choices in going out into the world and kind of leaving his family behind a little bit. But then we also have the fallout of not only being an Avenger, but being a Hydra agent with Bucky and his jerk therapist.
Yeah,
he's being a jerk too.
Well, yeah, but still.
I feel like this is one of the worst portrayals of therapy that I've ever seen on screen.
Oh yeah, no, this wouldn't work on a normal person, but it's Bucky.
Yeah.
And I want to acknowledge that I mean there are still things about this. Namely, I think it's portrayal of therapy, and it's just like absolute infatuation with the U.S. government, and for some reason, like invoking Benghazi. Like, what's going on there?
Wait, what? What about Benghazi? What?
Or not the government specifically, but like the military, or generally, but like specifically the military at the beginning of this.
Oh,
When they're
yeah.
talking
It's a Captain America thing. Sam's a soldier.
But also, the whole thing about Captain America's arc is that he slowly realizes that blindly being a soldier isn't healthy or good, and that it often gets in the way of doing the right thing.
Hey
But
man,
Sam's like-
being an Avenger doesn't pay.
Oh yeah,
But Sam's
apparently.
like,
You gotta get that money.
Sam's like, you know what? Let's just. What I was talking about with Benghazi is the whole like trying to avoid Libyan airspace when they could have chose any other country.
Yeah,
to
true.
Be, yeah, I just Marvel movies. We've talked about this before on the show. Have like a complicated history with most of the time if you need military involvement for monetary reasons in something like this, they need script approval, which means that basically you need to have a little baby military commercial at the beginning of your movie. And so yeah, those were the two things that I feel like.
Oh, hold on, totally unrelated and kind of off kilter, but I remember this about the Snyder Cut now. About how a lot of it was just a commercial for Audis.
And Mercedes. Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
that is. I'm glad you brought that up. Now that we moved on to a completely different comic franchise, but I think that's worth it because that is definitely true.
But yeah, circling back to Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I did admire the steps that this movie or this series was trying to take, even if some of the stuff wasn't.
You see Sam give up the shield. He puts it in a museum.
It belongs in a museum.
And I mean, like, he does it in a very, like, sentimental and, honorable way, but what did he think was going to happen if he turned over that shield to the government? And I know I'm getting a little towards the end of the episode here, but
Yeah.
when has the...
Well, Seamus, he thought that the U.S. government would respect his wishes and do the right thing.
What an absolute fool he is. Jesus Christ.
Like an idiot.
Yeah, but I liked going back to that Smithsonian exhibit from Winter Soldier. I thought that was really fun.
Oh, totally.
And
Don Cheadle's here.
yeah, Don Cheadle is Rhodey pops up, and do you think he'll be back, or you think that's we got an Avenger in here, and now we're gonna deal with with our main characters and only them and the new
Well,
characters?
he's got Armor Wars to deal with.
Maybe they set that up a little more in this. I mean, I personally love the way that War Machine and the Falcon fight. Just their very mechanical vibe to everything they do just really gets me. I'd like to see them fight like together on the same side in the sky, but
Well, we saw them do that a little bit in Infinity War when they're like carpet bombing.
oh yeah, those gorillas
in Wakanda. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to see more of that, but like that cool helicopter chase sequence that we get in this episode, some more fun maneuvers and shots in the sky.
I didn't see the twist with the Winter Soldier coming. I was really curious. I was like, is this going to be an old war buddy? Is this going to be like, what's going on here?
Oh, yeah. That was my thinking, too. That this old man Bucky's hanging out with, I figured, that's got to be someone he knows from the war. Or just someone else that can relate to him on some level. But
nope,
it's a lot worse. It's so much worse.
Yeah, at first I thought he was the one Asian American member of the Howling Commandos, but we kind of get that in Spider-Man.
What is that actor's name? What is that actor's name?
That's a great question.
I know that actor's name, and I don't know it.
I mean, he's great. I just rewatched most of Phase 1 last week, so he's great. I know he pops up again as the son of that character in Spider-Man, so I wasn't sure, but it's just a very much sadder story about the murder of this man's son at the hands of the Hydra brainwashed Winter Soldier.
Yeah, it's rough, and I'm very interested to see if they do more with that. Is it just a character thing, which I hope it is. I hope it's just showing where he is emotionally. But I wonder if they're going to try to tie that to, like, the plot. You know?
God, we'll see. I know...
I don't know about the overall plot, but I think there has to be a point where Bucky tells him, because he has to make amends. He has to go through the list.
Yes, but I'm meaning, like, is, like, something going to happen? Like, does the bartender know something that's going to tie to the... Like, the bartender... I really liked him going on the date with the bartender. I thought that was spectacular.
Yeah, I thought that was really good, too, seeing Bucky kind of... A little bit like how we were seeing Cap in, like, the beginning of the first Avengers getting reassimilated more to... He mentions it in, God, I don't remember where it was, but it was just like, aside from his like very small respite in Wakanda, it's basically just been like war for his entire life and a gap of like 90 years being, I don't know. It was good to see some of that normal stuff, but I did also think that she was being very, I don't know. I feel like I remember her saying a couple things where I was like, wow, that is an incredibly rude thing to ask or to say to somebody on a first date. And I can't, for the life of me, remember what she was saying.
It was a little clunky, but I thought they had genuine chemistry, which is more than most people in Marvel movies have.
Yeah, that's
with their romantic counterpart.
That's fair. I hope she comes back and isn't just like a secret like Hydra agent ready to cut Bucky's head off or something. I know Hydra's kind of dissolved mostly, but
who knows, though. But it reminded me of... There were these deleted scenes, I remember, that on my Avengers Blu-ray, where they were originally going to have a whole subplot where... You remember the waitress that Captain America saves at the end of the Avengers?
Oh yeah. They were going to do something with that.
There were going to be multiple scenes before that where he, like, hangs out at her coffee shop and is too shy to talk to her other than to order his coffee, even though, you know, he's Captain America.
Where would they have... They were going to put this in the movie? How would that have even happened?
It was going to be at the beginning, like when when they're setting up everything with, you know, Tony and Pepper at Stark Tower, and Bruce is in whatever country he's in helping people, and, you know, all that stuff. And so I think the idea was, instead of just having Captain America's punching bag scene, he was going to have a scene where he was, like, having a harder time coming to terms with, like, even socializing.
Well, you know, I'm glad we're...
And this had...
Yeah,
this had that vibe to
I'm
me.
glad we're seeing that here, because they can really... Now that, like, Bucky is such a... I feel like such a malleable character, considering the Winter Soldier isn't... Like, he's not Captain America. The Winter Soldier can be really... manipulated into anything really interesting that they want to do with him, and to kind of play with that out of time stuff like they hinted at with Cap is a lot of fun. Do we want...
I hope they get more into that. I hope they get more into I'm 106 years old and not just make jokes about it. I hope that there's genuinely, like, fallout from that from that being that old.
Yeah, I hope so too. You know, I know there was like that notebook that Captain America had of just like all the stuff I missed that he was crossing off. Maybe some more stuff like that.
Where it's like Martin Luther King next to Star Wars. I'm like, one of those things is more important than the other guys.
He's got a different notebook. He's got his amends notebook, and Zemo's on it.
Yeah, that's definitely, he's gonna go see Zemo in his prison cell, and whatever amends he's gonna try to make is gonna trigger him to break out or something.
I mean, Zemo, I've seen the posters. Zemo's on the posters for this thing, so I'm assuming we're gonna get
it's like purple mask Zemo too. I'm excited.
Yeah, we got that official Zemo.
Yeah, actual Baron Zemo, and not whatever was going on in Civil War, which is another reason I don't like that movie, is because it could have just been anybody and not been Baron Zemo.
But he's back.
And it would have been cooler if it was just a random guy. It would have made that theme actually land.
You know, maybe they'll play around with that stuff a little more with this show, considering I'm sure they'll introduce him in the next episode or two.
Yeah, I was a little
But
bit
in
surprised.
other villains, we got the Flag Smashers instead of Zemo this episode.
I wonder if he's going to somehow be connected to the Flag Smashers, if that's going to be leading into him.
That could work, like his own personal army.
Maybe. Mm-hmm. I did like that.
It's
a little confusing when they've got like Sam's buddy, his army buddy, whose name I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
Torres.
Who's not a good actor. I'm like, how did you get this
Torres.
role?
Joaquin Torres. I didn't think he was terrible. I mean, it's a little weird, but just like his whole investigation into the ARG bank robbery with the that was the Flag Smashers, right? Yeah.
Yeah, with the guy who looks, I know he doesn't take his mask off, but all I could think of was Carl from Die Hard with that guy with the long hair.
I see it. Oh man. And I mean, and now I want to touch on like he's gonna be, and he hasn't even said a word yet, but everybody's new replacement for Hayward for the most hated character in anything is going to be new Captain America, played by the wonderful Wyatt Russell, I will say, but I already can tell I'm going to hate him so much.
Well, I'm very curious about, is he going to be somebody's son? Is he going to end up like, I want to know what his deal is. Is he malicious? Is he naive? Is he just some little privileged boy that, because I mean, yeah, let's talk about that. The undercurrent of this episode is Sam gives up the shield to the Smithsonian, and there's some like guy there that's like, thank you, Sam, for you did the right thing.
Ugh, BS.
And then the same guy at the end of the episode holding a press conference introducing to the world to, white Captain America.
Yeah, that's like, don't worry guys, we got it back. We gave it to the one you want instead, or whatever.
Who does he think he is?
And
how dare he stand where he stood?
And as far as, like, I don't know if they're going to do, like, a rebranding soon, but I thought it was supposed to be U.S. Agent, and I don't know if that's just, like, a different alias or whatever, but it seems really, like, it hurt me a little bit to see him in, like, the Captain America helmet that is very reminiscent of his, like, earlier ones.
Yeah, the Spangles.
His Carl from Up looking ass.
Just, yeah, I don't like it, but...
It's one of my favorite memes going around, just everyone clowning on this guy, saying he looks like either like Carl from Up or like YouTuber Danny Gonzalez.
Who is this?
You're talking about Wyatt Russell?
Yeah, he looks goofy in the helmet.
His ears are like
People
going
keep saying
straight
he looks like
out.
Carl from Up.
Carl from
like young Carl when he's wearing his big aviator helmet.
All the edits I've seen are just
Old Carl.
of the regular Carl we know, just because of his
Weird.
big
That's
nose.
Really weird.
That is insanely weird, but...
And the ears, yeah, the ears.
Yeah, he's probably Mephisto.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
fine.
It was Agatha all along anyway, so, like, what's even the point? I'm straight up expecting, like, I guess maybe this is my own wish list, but I'm expecting, like, a Homelander type, like, arrogance to this person. Like, yeah, I deserve to be Captain America, and I'm gonna, like, whatever. It's gonna be, like, the absolute most blood-boiling thing to see, like, Captain America's two best friends in the world deal with.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I don't like that this episode doesn't have them together. I thought that was really weird.
Yeah, me too, a little bit. As far as I remember, correct me if I'm wrong, boys, like, the last real, like, talking they did together was that funny, like, car seat gag in, I want to say, Civil War. But other than that, it's been just mostly like, on your left, there's more aliens.
Yeah, like... I mean, when Bucky was talking about it's always just one war after another, and there's no break, I was like, that's how I feel about this stupid MCU.
Oh my god.
Like, it's just, there's another show, and then there's another show, and then there's another movie, and then...
Oh man, Black Widow will come out someday, guys, we promise. Who cares? Goddamn.
Who said that?
Oh man. Yeah,
But yeah, I'm interested to see where this is going. I wish that there had been more in this episode, but I did like that they gave, like, a genuinely solid foundation to these characters' psyches and not just, like, what if sitcom?
Well, hopefully in the next couple episodes they actually get the two titular characters on screen
I
together.
will not tolerate this sitcom slander on my timeline.
Hey man, I'm here for WandaVision too, don't get me wrong. I loved WandaVision and every hokey sitcom moment, but I'm kind of with Garrett. This feels like a little more meaty in terms of like the lore of Marvel we're used to getting in any given property that we see. It's usually chock full of like really at least character work that's a little more consistent. I know WandaVision was just all about, Wanda's grief and stuff, but it does take a couple creepy episodes to get into the stride of where it peaks.
We'll get ready for more Torres, idiot, because he's a character. A big one, too.
I mean, I don't hate Torres. He's maybe gonna get his ass kicked a couple more times. He'll probably get hurt by, U.S. agent or whatever.
Are we not thinking his death by the hands of Baron Zemo is gonna be what motivates our heroes into an
he
exciting
can't
third
die.
act?
He's gonna be the new Falcon.
You think he's gonna pass his wings on?
There's already photos of him with wing. Well, in the comics, he's got a sort of bird suit.
That'd be really interesting, actually, because he's talking about how he wants to. Yeah, okay, I can see that.
Yeah, a little next time baby action where they're just teasing it out a little bit.
Poor Terrence Howard.
Terrence Howard wasn't that good in the first Iron Man.
No, not.
He thinks about it every day.
He really probably
I would
does.
too.
You're really not wrong.
Don Cheadle just was in the premiere of a show that got watched by a bajillion people, so I'm sure he feels pretty bad.
What's the literally the last thing I remember seeing Terrence Howard was Red Tails, and that was like 15 years ago.
Real quick, did he not want to come back, or did they not want him back?
I don't know. I don't know the whole lore behind the recast.
This week's pop culture reference is the Terrence Howard recast situation.
Maybe someday we'll do that, honestly.
Armor Wars, yo. That probably, yeah.
I think this officially means that we are out of things to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
So let's go ahead and move on to our rec center. Now it's time to save the rec center, where we give you our weekly recommendations. Seamus, what do you got?
Inspired by the Snyder Cut, I thought I'd throw out another one of my all-time favorite, director's extended cuts. And I just gotta say, it's one of my favorite Tarantino movies out of all of them, but the Hateful Eight extended cut on Netflix, really impressive. I think it's a lot more digestible in smaller segments. They cut it up into a 4-part miniseries instead of a 3-hour-long movie, where they just talk in a room for 2 hours of that 3. And, I don't know, I think it's genuinely more enjoyable than the theatrical cut. It reminded me, I got reminded of it in the Snyder Cut by the way they ended it with the chapters and kind of cut it up more, and it kind of got me inspired to watch it again, so I might hit that up this weekend.
Very, very nice. That is not one of my favorite Tarantinos, even though I love my boy Walton Goggins. You know that.
Oh, of course. And I can't even really put my finger on why I hold it to such high regard. Maybe it was because I saw it in the road show at the Music Box when it came out, and that really informed my opinion. But
that is something I really wish I'd gone to. I wanted to go so much. I just gotten my Music Box membership back then too, Seamus. I just got it.
It's one of my favorite cinema memories, but even this extended cut sitting on my couch, it's really a good way to experience that story. So, give it a shot.
Ricardo, what do you got?
You know what? It's weird because it's been coming up a lot lately with the so-called canceling of Pepe Le Pew. But they've tried to throw Speedy Gonzalez under that same level, which I always found kind of odd, because people have always kind of said, oh, Speedy Gonzalez, he's been dubbed like a racist caricature. Mexicans love Speedy Gonzalez. He's a beloved icon. So I don't know what the problem is. So this comes up because I read an article today kind of covering that same kind of disparity. Something that, for all intents and purposes, should be kind of racist, because it is Mel Blanc, a white guy trying to do all these accents, and every single character in those shorts is wearing a sombrero at all times. But no, as a culture, we kind of just, he's a hero, he's a Latin icon, he always wins. What part of this is racist? And I spent most of today just watching the old cartoons, so I guess that's what I'm rec-centering, because you can find the whole list on Wikipedia and stuff. He's the main focus of around 40 of them, and they're also really easy to find. I just put in the name of the short into Google, and they're 6 minutes, so they're very easily digestible.
And aren't a lot of Looney Tunes on HBO too?
See, that's the thing. I looked. I don't think a lot of the Speedy Gonzalez ones are on there.
Lame.
I don't know if that's due to licensing stuff, or because, like I said, a lot of people do deem it racist, even though the people that would be offended adore him. But they're super easy to find online. Just put them in there. Check out the legacy of Speedy Gonzalez.
Hell yeah, man. That's awesome. I will definitely do that. 6 minutes. God, those seemed so long when I was a kid for some reason, but gotta love Speedy Gonzalez. Garrett, to finish us out, what do you got this week?
Well, my girlfriend and I have recently started Parks and Recreation, which I have seen several times over, but she has never watched before. And despite being behind that cursed Peacock paywall, it sounds like there's a lot of original content coming soon, so I don't feel a tremendous amount of guilt rec-centering Parks and Recreation right now, because it is genuinely, I think, one of the best and most consistent series ever on TV, and even though the characters really haven't found their footing, I do think the first season is better than a lot of people give it credit for, and even if you don't like it, it's only 6 episodes, so you're just able to skate on through.
I was going to say, because I'm a big Parks and Rec guy, too. Like, I've seen the show multiple times. All right, hypothetical. Guy comes up to you, you're talking about Parks and Rec, and then he's like, oh yeah, my favorite Parks and Rec character is Mark Brandanowitz. What do you do? What's your next
spin
move?
On your heel and walk the other way, because that is not a real human being. That is a disguised being.
It's a Terminator.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody likes Mark Brandanowitz. God.
Yeah, but I mean, I think there's still good stuff in Season 2, and I think by Season 2 they figured out that character wasn't working and kind of made him into an anti-Jim Halpert, where it's kind of like, he's like, what if Jim Halpert were a real guy, where he's all smarmy and smug and thinks he's the funniest and cleverest guy at the office, but really he's just a jerk?
Oh, God, yeah, that's pretty spot on.
I like the world that they build with Parks and Rec, because it does feel almost like a Springfield, where like there's regular like citizens that pop up at town meetings. There's a bunch of businesses that people know, like the Sweetums Company or Joan Calamezzo.
Yeah. We'll do a Parks and Rec episode, I think, probably someday. Yeah. Okay, but that wraps us up for this week's episode of Pop Culture Reference. Next week, we're going to be talking about Kong vs. Godzilla, so I'm pretty excited about that. If you want to reach the show...
Are you ready to rumble?
I can't.
It's the fight of the century.
Cannot wait.
If you want to reach the show, you can tweet us at PCR_podcast. Find us on Instagram with that same handle. Like us on Facebook. And email us at popculturereferencepod@gmail.com. Again, really excited for Godzilla vs. Kong. Hope it's serviceable at the very least. At best, I hope it's... if it's as good as Kong Skull Island, I will be a happy
Oh, hell
man.
yeah. I think our expectations are going to get met. But then again, I thought that going into Batman v Superman, so...
You're a fool, Seamus.
Check out Live Action Remake, Diego's podcast. I just did a crossover with him. They have an episode just came out. We talk about BVS.
And your seething hatred, Ricardo?
Yeah. That's part of the title of that episode.
Amazing. I haven't listened yet.
Yeah, I loved your last one, so I can't wait to listen to this one.
But on our podcast, we will see you next week.
Adios, amigos.
Bye, everybody.